Rahul Dravid, the fine 100 in the first test match at Border, and a very impressive test match record, averaging 52.61. Mervyn Dillon striking with the last ball of his previous over.
The length that these fast bowlers have to be bowling is a length at which the ball will not be going over the top of the stumps. If it's going over the top of the stumps, it's too short. If you're going to be short, you want to be very short. You want the ball to be bouncing very high. That length, the ball is definitely not going to go over the stumps. The batsman perhaps should have been a little bit forward. He was caught in his crease, and there's absolutely no doubt about that. That was a good length from Cameron Coffey again. That certainly was a much better length than previous. This is the sort of length there that we're talking about, where the ball hitting the batsman just about the roll. He's right back, hitting him right on the roll.
Runs on the onside. Another couple for Sanjay Bangar. That's the one change in the Indian batting lineup. In fact, two changes we've already seen. Bangar batting at the top of the order, Dravid coming out to bat at 3. Well, that went through the man at forward short leg, very difficult. But then you've got to stay low in that position.
You've got to stay down when you're feeling in those positions very close to the bat. It's difficult to take those catches though, but you can see what Sarwan did wrong there. He was up. He already come up and straightened before the shot was played. Then he had to try and get back down to take the catch.
That's a lovely delivery. The length is good. Michael Holding was talking about the fuller length. Have a look at that last one.
Beautiful delivery. Committed to play. He had to play at this Rahul Dravid. Look at the length. The ball is full in length. Not for the drive, obviously, but it's full in length. He had to come forward and a perfect line, just about off stump. And that's the lateral movement that you will get here in Trinidad on the first morning. Ravi Shastri was just talking about the fact that it is humid. That helps movement.
That's the two changes in the batting order. Bangar at the top of the order, Dravid at 3. And Dravid off the mark here with a boundary. There's no third man. And the second time in a couple of overs the ball has gone in that direction.
Produced 4 runs for India, but I don't think Mervyn Dillon should be too perturbed by this. That's still a length that he wants to be bowling. Rahul Dravid had a fair amount of control over that shot. It wasn't a genuine edge. That was the bouncer.
And a good one. Bangar just getting his gloves out in the nick of time. But the line was good there.
I think Bangar did well. Just dropped his hands, dropped the gloves. Just brushing the shirt on the way through. That's why there was an aborted appeal by a couple of the West Indian fielders. But it was all shirt. Look at those big scores.
Right on, right on. Yeah, good.
He steered past Gully. Good piece of fielding by Marlon Black. Tall man had to stretch across to his left. Fine shot. Nicely hit through the line. And a slightly overpitched there, Dillon, and Bangar dealing with it.
Coming nicely forward there, Bangar, not caught in his crease. Just a bit too full in length there from Mervyn Dillon. Has the idea right though, keep the ball reasonably well up to the bat. Just a bit too much up. Good shot though. Everything behind the line of the ball. Came back in, but not enough. And again, that would have gone over the top. You look how high on the pad that ball is hitting. Above the roll. That would certainly have gone over the top of the stumps.
Drifting onto leg stump and promptly punished there by Rahul Dravid. Very strong off his pads. This outfield not the quickest, but the ball still reaching the boundary.
Quite lush this outfield here at Queen's Park, but that was the wrong line. Reasonably good length. You can see Rahul Dravid there still thinking about coming forward, but just drifting into the pad.
What a shot that is. Tremendous shot of the morning. Not a doubt at all. Volley, in all fairness to Dravid, but he made tremendous use of it.
Well, Rahul Dravid is actually, the way he bats is perfect for this pitch. He looks to get forward all the time. Now, it doesn't mean to say he won't make a mistake or he'll get a really good ball or a bad decision. That happens, as we know in cricket. But he's got the right idea to get forward whenever he can.
Crowd will love that. But I'll tell you what, he's done a very good job of getting out of line on that one. It is 37 for 1.
Well, I missed him easy. Missed him by a foot and a half, that. Look at it, watch. Just missed him by a long way.
Gone. Waited for the umpire's decision. It was quick. The bowler went up immediately. Wicket for Sanford. And India lose their second opener. 38 for 2.
Well, I'm sorry about this, but this is a lazy, sloppy shot. This is an innocuous little foolish ball that's a touch wide. When he gets in the dressing room and watches this, I bet he could kick himself. This is a nothing shot. A little waft at it, isn't it? Shouldn't really be missing that. That's a foolish delivery. Didn't do very much. And again, I come back to it. It's mistakes that'll cost players in this game. 38 for 2.
Tremendous record. Was very disappointed at losing out on 100 in Guyana. Averaging 58.7. It's an average that's been on the up. And that's often a sign of a player who's still improving. Not a bad first ball. The crowd was up as they were when Sanjay Bangar was dismissed.
Well, I don't think we can say too much about that. Just an innocuous, slightly wideish, foolish delivery.
Well, he'll get the runs. He'll get the runs, but he threw his bat at it. It's 42 for 2.
Fine shot. That's punched down the ground. Tendulkar off the mark. And off the mark in style.
Yes. Every batsman has a trademark shot. You can say that the straight drive is the Sachin Tendulkar trademark shot. If you can say that the cut is a Brian Lara shot, the straight drive is absolutely, totally, exclusively Sachin Tendulkar's. That is beautifully executed.
that's where he can be deceptive, Adam Sanford. He has the ability to get pace off the pitch. This one much quicker. He bent his back, and this one zipped through. In the air and just short of mid-off. Just closing the face of the blade a little too quickly. That's gone. At least it looks as if it's gone. The West Indian slip cordon goes up. But Asoka De Silva isn't interested. Let's take another look. An eventful over already.
Well, it looked to me as if he had nicked it, because that was our first reaction, that he nicked it. I think he did.
That's well played. Excellent timing. Just seemed to be a gentle push, but the ball's raced to the boundary. The 50 comes up for India. Nicely placed. No need to run for that. Driven and passed it off. Boundary for Tendulkar. Now that shot, he was in total control. Nice stride forward. Third boundary for Tendulkar. Still 2 balls to go for lunch. And worked away on the onside again. Superb timing. Consecutive boundaries. That's a lovely shot. So that's it. At lunch, India 70 for 2. That's after West Indies won the toss and decided to field first. India lost 2 early wickets, but they've got a pretty good partnership going. And the good thing from India's point of view, that they've got 2 of their best players out there in the centre. Dravid 25, Tendulkar 20.
Yes, the big guns are in residence. Dravid and Tendulkar, they are there. They're the men that you kind of think will do the job for India. Is the bowling? Well, the West Indies bowled pretty well. Merv Dillon, he was, again, slightly disappointing. Not as accurate as maybe a man with a new ball in his hand should be. Cameron Cuffey, though, 5 overs, 1 maiden, 0 for 11. Sanford picked up 1 wicket, nearly got Tendulkar. And Marlon Black back in the game, back in cricket. Nice to see, bowling very well. 6 overs, 0 for 14 for him. I've got to tell you, Jimmy's laughing at me in the studio here because I think Tendulkar was out and he doesn't. So
Mike,
I think we need to have a look at it.
Mike, there's no such thing as somebody being nearly out. No, it was a good ball here.
That's a lucky escape.
Well, he played a shot too early. I think he closed the bat face a little bit too early. Here we see it being bowled. Closes it too early, takes a leading edge and just fails to carry to middle.
Now watch closely, Mr. Adams. I'm giving that out.
No, I'm afraid from where I sit, I don't see a deflection. There might have been a noise, but then that's for the umpire.
Let's look closely. Looks that.
No, I'm sorry, Mike. I can't support you there. I think that's just a natural swing. And apparently the umpire didn't hear anything either, so there you go. Well, I'm not going to stay 10,000 miles away and say that I heard it.
We've been rowing about that, but I cannot tell you for how long. But never mind. That would have been big for the West Indies. I guess India maybe the happier at lunch?
I think India would be, for the main fact that both of the 2 best batsmen in the team actually in. They're on 20-something apiece. They've batted for the better part of an hour. Bit of sweat coming down the foreheads now. They're seeing the ball and feet moving. So they'll be quite happy with the way they're placed at the minute.
They certainly will. Well, we'll talk more after this very short break. And Merv had dash.
One at mid-on. Gets a couple for it.
Tony's right, takes that from about middle and off stump, but the angle of the ball just coming in, he gets outside the line and then just helps it with a straight bat.
End of the over from the West Indians. Of course, as soon as you see a batsman offering no shot, the appeal is going to be big.
Didn't do enough. Didn't do enough for me. That it was a bit dodgy, you know, just leaving it like that when it's offering to just come in. It only offered, didn't really cut back. But it's always going to be a bit dodgy. It's going to get fielders and home crowds interested. But no, that didn't do enough for me.
It's 91 for 2. And that's what you'll get.
Very good shot this from Rahul Dravid. Again, that turned out to be a half volley. Not quite the Yorker that Mervyn Dillon was hoping for. But have a look at Rahul Dravid. Everything right over the ball, eyes over the line of the ball, the bat straight through the line. Absolutely nothing wrong with that shot. Well, that's the reasonably good crowd that Harsha Bogle was talking about.
There's this great aura around the Queen's Park Oval in the cricket world. A lot of people like to look upon this as among the better test match venues. And I think it's the people that make the ground really. I mean, a lot of test match grounds start to look like one another. It's the people that make the difference, and certainly they enjoy their cricket here in the West Indies. And it's, as I said, a gorgeous day. Lots of people. Here's another. Very interesting faces in the crowd.
Straight drive, and Cuffy rather got into a tangle trying to save it.
Yes, and he's brought it up in typical fashion. He's looked rock solid right through this innings. His 9th boundary, bringing up his half-century. And like I mentioned, a typical Dravid shot. Punch down the ground, pass mid-off. Poor effort in the end by the man at mid-off. Dravid will take that.
From Tendulkar, which normally would expect to find the gap, go to the boundary. Really hasn't been typical Tendulkar, and it's been grafting. Just hasn't been at his best, but he's still there. 38 to his credit.
Yes, and that's the important thing, because a player of his class, they can suddenly change gears once they come to grips with the timing. A couple of balls hit the middle of the bat, and then you're in totally a different frame of mind. It's not been easy for him. The line has been good, like we mentioned earlier.
Let's get a second here. Ends the over. 121 for 2.
Wide, nice little half volley. Tendulkar doesn't miss out on those.
Don't want to be missing out on them either. This pitch is very slow. It's the half volleys that you will find easier to score off, and that was one. Even the short balls, the batsmen are having problems scoring because of the pace of this pitch, and also lack of bounce. Well, that was easy.
This is a fast bowler's response, short, but there's nothing much in this pitch for Adam Sanford.
There by Tendulkar, it was a bit of a long hop by Hooper. Nothing in the wicket, no turn, no bounce, and easily put away. But yes, Carl I think now has to find somebody, including himself, who will bowl maybe 10, 15 overs and basically rotate the fast bowlers from the other end, and that would probably go on until the second new ball is due.
Sachin Tendulkar, 49 not out. He's not been at his best, but he'll be happy with that. And he's still still not scored 100 in the West Indies. Perhaps this is the time.
It could be. It could be. I think what has happened to Sachin in this innings is Sachin so likes to dominate and he likes to play a lot of balls on the up. You know, he likes to force them away, and this really isn't the sort of wicket for that. I think if you look back, defensively he's been pretty sound. It's just that every time he's tried to force it, attacking, he's struggled a little bit with his timing because it's just not that kind of wicket. And there he goes for yet another Test match 50. He's batted. I think he's batted very well. A few hiccups early on, but you know, apart from I said trying to play on the up, he's been pretty much just as solid as Dravid has been at the other end.
Yeah, has batted very well. You mentioned Rahul Dravid. He's certainly the man for the job, isn't he? Because he's actually looked the more secure of the two. Looked really solid. We know he can bat for a long time. 345 balls he faced in his innings in Border.
Right.
So he has no problem with patience, does he?
Well, let's add a little bit more to that statistic. I think he now has close to 500 balls faced in the Caribbean without giving a chance. So
he can play, is what you said.
I've seen worse batsmen, Mike.
Sachin Tendulkar, that's a wonderful record. Look at that average, 59.11. It just doesn't get too much better than that.
Well, you know, with a big score here, if he were to get a big 100 not out, that could go up to 60, and then you're talking, you know, I mean, he's already a great player, but then it's just a case of how far does he want to push himself statistically, you know, how hungry is he to go statistically to another level, because I don't think talent-wise or ability-wise he can go to another level, you know what I mean? So it's just great watching him play, you know, different wickets. Last week he was all drives and fluent, and this week it's a bit slow wicket, but he's not getting out. You know, he's missing a few shots, yes, but even when he misses them, the element of risk is so minimal that he still doesn't look to be that much bother. It's just he just looks a little bit impatient. He just wants to get on with it. He just wants to dominate. But you know, nothing really to worry about. And I think now his captain might be thinking, well, you know, let me get my pads off and just sit back and enjoy and watch these two great players.
Averaging 676 in the last 12 months. That's fairly good. One more century, and he's level with Don Bradman, which is quite some achievement. It says it all, I guess.
Well, not many people can be calling the same breath as a great Don. So the mere fact that we're calling his name and Don Bradman's in the same sentence for the same reasons is a good sign.
It certainly is. Well, not a good sign for the West Indies that he and Rahul Dravid are digging in. The West Indies with lots of problems. Let's get back to our commentators at Port of Spain.
This time he helps it on its way to deep fine leg. He's not one to let the bowler take the psychological advantage. The second shot pitch delivery is quick on to his back foot to try and work it away.
Much more comfortable height at which to play the pull shot as well. That was just above his waist. Hit down on it.
Well, this is aggressive bowling by
Leg by, signal by Asoka De Silva. That's why Carl Hooper appealed.
Once again, predetermined shot from Sachin Tendulkar, trying to work it down. Very, very good timing there. Just leaning into the drive.
The Indian dressing room would be very happy with that. Not so the West Indian dressing room. That looked so good. It was not a half volley. It was not that bad a delivery. But Sachin Tendulkar certainly made it look that way.
A typical fast bowler's retort, the short delivery.
Have a look at this shot again from Sachin Tendulkar. That was not a half volley. You can see the ball pitching well short of the bat, and it was on the rise when it hit the bat. Just a jog down the pitch to say hello to Rahul Dravid. He knew where it was going. Now gone past Rahul Dravid in his scoring. 57 to Dravid's 54.
Takes it on his thigh pad. There is no fielder at the backward short leg, nor at forward short leg, but he's not prepared to fend it off. He's taking it on his thigh pad.
Has something on the shirt there as well, Sonny. You can hear it sound when it hits him. A bit of protection there.
I didn't realize he was wearing a chest pad. I just thought he'd put on a bit of weight.
Not with the trainer that they have got. They have all been instructed that they are not allowed to put on an ounce on this tour. If they do put on an ounce above what they arrived with, they are told to eat fruits, and fruits only until lunch.
Yes, I understand those those who have excess body fat like Tendulkar have been told to just be on fruit. Tendulkar, Das, particularly the short men. It was just a little teeny weeny bit of hope there for the West Indians, because the ball was hit up in the air but wide of the fielder.
Chris Gayle is the man at point, and perhaps he thought to himself that he had a chance. And of course the West Indies would have been hoping that it went a lot closer to him. This will give us an idea of how close it passed. No, not really a chance there. Well wide of Chris Gayle at point.
Just getting a bit carried away.
I think this was premeditated, sorry. I'm not too sure about this, but I think he thought to himself, this has to be short, and if it's short, I'm going to be pulling. It was a bit short, but certainly nowhere near as short as a ball that you want to be pulling, and the bounce wasn't all that high.
Well, he's just got to throw his mind back to the dismissal in the first test. That was also nearing tea. Just about 7-8 minutes before tea now. So he does not want to repeat that mistake where he got out just before tea then. Doing the smart thing, working the ball away and keeping the strike. 145 for 2.
His is that.
When he was hit on the pads uncharacteristically. Was playing across the line quite a bit in that period. Didn't seem to be certain at what pace the ball was going to come, at what height the ball was going to come. Took his time to settle down. Two dot balls for Hooper. Tendulkar well aware that tea time's just around the corner, making an extra effort to concentrate harder. There it is, an exaggerated forward defensive shot. .79 in the first test at Guyana. He's now on 62.
To 6. I think Sachin could be heading towards that on this tour.
Don't forget the other man. He's also got some runs. He's got 140 and he's 50 now. It's 145 for 2. Well, these are the top scores at Port of Spain. But that was when the ball used to be below sea level.
top score of 220. 5 double centuries here at Queen's Park Oval.
Lovely shot that. Copybook. Foot right to the pitch of the ball. The head in line. Lovely arc off the bat. And an even better follow through.
That was a lot closer to being a half volley than the one that Sachin Tendulkar put away. That was well played. That left foot came right out and across. Don't think I can blame Sanford too much though. He's desperately trying to get the batsman to play at something that's a bit wide because the ball isn't swinging, it isn't seaming. But Rahul Dravid covered it very well.
Just a little uncertain shot after that glorious cover drive of the previous delivery. The bat face closing at the moment of impact. That's what got the ball to go towards square leg instead of straight down the pitch to the bowler. Good backing there by Shivnarine Chandapal.
Marlon Black was the man at mid-on. Always worth taking the risk of the overthrow. Quite anxious to take these runs, the Indians.
Couple of minutes left before the tea interval. 2 more deliveries. Attempted Yorker. Rahul Dravid keeps the strike. We'll just wait and see if it's a tea. 152 for 2.
Well played by Rahul Dravid. He gave himself a bit of room because the ball was spinning back in towards him. Marlon Black not that fluent going to his left as to his right. Building the bridge over the ball.
Between Sachin Tendulkar and
hard work for the bowlers out there. Very slow pitch. Mervyn Dillon and Adam Sanford, the 2 successful bowlers. Sanford has paid the price though, going at over 4 runs per over. Cameron Coffey, as usual, has bowled well. Very economical. A bit unlucky. Marlon Black, very economical as well. And Carl Hooper coming in the latter stages of the second session, bowling 5 overs for 12 runs.
Yeah, no question, that was in level with the great Sidon Badman.
Well, I mean, you run out of superlatives when you're talking about Sachin. I mean, he is a very great player. I think he'll probably be at the top of that list by the time his career is over. But he's batting very well. He didn't start off too well. I think he was trying too early to try and dominate. And he's sort of settled into a groove now. Got a few loose balls from Sanford.
For 2 at that stage. Let's have a look back and see what happened in the afternoon session.
Fine stroke, reaching right out for it. Outfield not as fast as Border, but it will go all the way. So boundary to start off the session after lunch for Dravid.
Well, he's always looking to get forward. Big stride here. He just thinks of coming forward, a little step, and then he gets right into it.
Beautifully bowled.
Well, this is a lapse in concentration because it's not really there to be hitting. He's trying to hit that on the up.
Edged. No third slip. No third man. 4 runs. So boundary off the edge, last ball of the over, 80 for 2. Not out.
Well, I think it was worth a shout, but I don't think it was out either. But Tendulkar's been playing this quite a bit in his innings. He's playing the ball too square towards square leg. Instead of playing it towards wide mid-on, that's how he nearly got out with the leading edge. He's turning the bat. Look at it.
That's close.
I think he hit it. I think he nicked it. I really think he nicked that. See, it kept low again. You cannot keep playing back and get away with it. You have no chance if you play back. This is only the first day. Gets so wide of the crease, though. Oh, no, it didn't look there as if he hit it. If we could watch the keeper, he went miles down the leg side, didn't he? Is he going? He's going. He's going. He thinks it's going down there, Junior Murray.
Oh, he'll have to hurry. Oh, the backing up was quite poor. And that'll be 5. Oh, he's not going to be happy now. Who should have been backing him for that? I think Sarwan was coming into the non-striker's end. So really should have been square leg, but he had quite a distance to cover. This Chanderpaul with the throw. Tendulkar was struggling. Yes, he was moving across, to be fair to him.
Marlon Black is the man that was at square leg. He was the man desperately trying to get behind the line of the ball. Sarwan obviously was the man going towards the non-striker's end. Very fortunate run.
Good cricket all round. 100 up for India with an absolutely beautiful shot. Looking for the Yorker, and that's what Mikey Holding said. Looking for the Yorker if you err a little bit, and that's what you'll get.
Very good shot this from Rahul Dravid. Again, that turned out to be a half volley. Not quite the Yorker that Mervyn Dillon was hoping for. Very interesting short ball from Cameron Coffey, and Sachin Tendulkar electing to take the blow on the ribs.
Oh, this is West Indies cricket for you. Oh, he was hopping there. 138.
That's what Sunil Gavaskar was talking about earlier on. Testing the mettle of batsmen. Well played, Sachin Tendulkar, but well bowled.
Fine shot. That's superbly played. It was bouncing, he was right on top of it and hit it hard. No steering about that.
Very well controlled, nicely on top of it. There's no gully. Rahul Dravid has taken the opportunity here. In fact, grasped it with both hands. Just using the pace, getting the placement right.
Well, he certainly made a hash of that. So that's Rahul Dravid's 50. Drive down the ground following his 100 in Georgetown. Straight drive. And Cuffy rather got into a tangle trying to save it.
Yes, and he's brought it up in typical fashion. He's looked rock solid right through this innings. His 9th boundary, bringing up his half-century. And like I mentioned, a typical Dravid shot. Punch down the ground, pass mid-off. Poor effort in the end by the man at mid-off. Dravid will take that.
End of the over, 118 for 2.
And his first ball is dispatched to the boundary. Wide, nice little half volley. Tendulkar doesn't miss out on those.
Don't want me missing out on them either. This pitch is very slow. It's the half volleys that you will find easier to score off, and that was one.
This is pulled away short. There is no protection for the fielder, no protection for the bowler there. Tendulkar making sure he didn't play with a horizontal bat, waited for the ball to come on. That's what he would be looking for, to work the ball away with the turn to a square leg. And it's yet another half century for the little champion.
And a well-played half century. Hasn't been easy out there.
Oh, what a shot. This is a beauty. Very, very good timing there. Just leaning into the drive. It's just a little teeny weeny bit of hope there for the West Indians, because the ball was hit up in the air, but wide of the fielder. Lovely shot there. Copybook. Oh, that's a poor effort. That is a poor effort. Ashoka De Silva takes the bails off. It's tea time. India 156 for 2.
Yes, India with all the cards in that afternoon session. Dravid and Tendulkar, the guys that do it so often for India, doing it again. Dravid 64, Tendulkar 63 not out. So at the moment, India, the kings of the Queen's Park Oval. We will have...
Slow, lowish pitch. Well played, but that's another mistake. 162 for 3.
Dravid departs. Ganguly comes out to the centre, batting at number 5 in this game. 55 matches, averaging just over 40. At one stage in his career, he was close to the 50-run mark per innings. Now he's here because Dravid was dismissed a little while earlier in this fashion.
So he's hitting that to wide mid-on. He's hitting around it, looking for runs, which is fair enough. He's been in a long time. That's what it does to you. Slow, low pitch. The bowlers bowl in tandem. Yes, it did come back a fraction, but I've got to say that's well pitched up, and it's not the sort of delivery at that pace that you expect to miss. But now the game's on. Captain of India in.